Hello. Welcome to Mary's Monday Musings. Oh, I'm excited about the topic tonight. I guess excited's not really the right word, but I think it's an important topic. So it's one that it's really been near and dear to my heart. So, hello. Oh, I can't see if anybody's on. There we go. Hi, Andrea. Oh, you made it on tonight. Dan, hi. Thanks for hopping on, Nate. So my topic tonight is about feelings. And it's not going to be this really mushy, touchy-feely love story kind of thing. So don't worry, guys. Like a lot of people, not just in the media, but I think everywhere, the suicide of Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade really hit me. I wasn't that familiar with Kate Spade, but we're huge Anthony Bourdain fans, and we've followed him for years and watched his shows. And just to let you know, guys, I can't see messages and my phone's acting up, so I don't want to go offline. So I'm not being rude. I'll try to flip this over, but I don't know how much luck I'm going to have. Anyway, so the suicides of those two people really, being an empath, they really affected me deeply. We had some friends when we were in college, a young couple who went behind their house and gassed themselves, left two little babies behind. So, but that was many, many years ago. And of course, we've heard of other high-profile people, and it makes you think that it's so sad because you look at these people and think, wow, they've got everything to live for, everything in the world that you could imagine. And it's just unbelievable almost. It really, really catches us off guard. So I just thought I would talk a little bit about it. There we go. I didn't want to mess anything up, but I can see your comments now. Because I would love to get some feedback from you all and get your thoughts and opinions on some of these things. Now, like I said, I didn't know anything about Kate Spade except who she was. But Anthony Bourdain, we really followed a lot. And we knew that he had a history in his youth. He, did hard drugs, heroin. He was addicted to them and cocaine. And he kicked them years and years ago. Was a fairly heavy drinker all along, but he managed to, write some books and have two really well-respected and excellent quality series on TV. And he talked openly about the dark side of him and about his depression that he had dealt with over the years. And it was really interesting because I think I was watching just a few minutes on CNN the other night. One of the correspondents, or it may have been one of the mental health professionals they had on, said that that we should not be complacent about someone's current situation just because they're open about their past. Because it doesn't necessarily give us an insight into what they're going through now. And I thought that was really important because he's one, you think he's fought all his demons and he's won. And that was obviously not the case. And it was very sad because he had left behind an 11-year-old little girl who adored him. So it just got me to thinking, and that it seems like in this day and age, we're so out of touch with our actual feelings because our friends are all, on a screen. They're all on Facebook, social media. I think there's not so much of the face-to-face community get-togethers and neighborhood block parties and those types of things where our friendships are up close and personal and face to face, so that we can really get more of a sense of what people are going through. But also, another negative of social media, I think, is what a lot of people call the highlight reel. A lot of people post, the kids always have to be smiling and they always have to be posed. I mean, I can't say that I don't have to approve all posts. But mine aren't to be fake. They're just because I really would like them, sometimes flattering. I always give Jim a hard time because he gets lots of candid shots and they're not always the most flattering. But this is a little bit deeper than that. We don't really, how are you? We say fine. Well, fine is not a feeling. And I think we go, oh, great. Oh, I'm glad you're fine. How are you? Oh, I'm fine too. And that's the end of the conversation, because we're not, it's not considered, I guess, whatever, to say, oh, I'm kind of struggling today, but I'm going to be okay. Because then it seems like we're complaining or like we're not grateful for what we have. And I guess a lot of times too, maybe we don't want to be vulnerable, or even maybe we're embarrassed and we don't want people to know that we're struggling. So one of the things I did was I came across a list of some feelings and why they're good feelings, what we can do to turn some of the feelings that we might perceive as negative and turn them into positive. And I just thought it was great. I was really excited to find this. So I'm just going to go down the list and let me know, chime in if any of these make sense to you. Bitterness, which a lot of people are really bitter about a lot of things. And the political climate right now, no matter what side you're on, it's just gotten really ugly. And so there's a lot of bitterness on both sides. But when we are experiencing bitterness, it shows us where we need to heal and where we're still holding judgments on others and ourselves. And so if we can look at the bitterness in ourselves and realize that, but also if there are others in our lives who are bitter, this gives us a little insight into what they're really feeling. And really, I think that's the thing that would help us help our friends, is if we were aware of if they're acting a certain way, it might be an indication that this is the case. So that's one area that we could, observe about ourselves and about our friends. Resentment shows that we're living in the past and not allowing the present to be as it is. Which I thought that was pretty spot on. Discomfort. This is one I've been feeling this a little bit, but discomfort shows you that you need to pay attention right now to what is happening, because you're being given the opportunity to change and to do something different than you typically do. And that is a very uncomfortable, hey Glenda, is a very uncomfortable feeling. So, but that's what lets me know that I need to wait a minute, I need to stop being uncomfortable, and I need to pay attention to the opportunities that I have that are coming my way. Anger, this is a big one. I think there are so many angry people. And I get angry sometimes too, especially when I watch the news these days. But it shows what we're passionate about when we get angry about things, where our boundaries are, and what we believe needs to change in the world. So again, if we look at people in our lives who exhibit these behaviors, or even express that they have these feelings, it gives us a little bit of an insight. It helps us understand them a little bit better. And maybe it can help us be a little bit better friends. And, maybe say, well, just a minute here. Let's talk about, I noticed that you're getting angry a lot, or I noticed that you seem to have a lot of resentment around this thing. I think it would help us open the conversation. That's right. It helps us to know, right, you try to ask yourself why when someone exhibits these qualities. I think it's really important, and I think it helps us be a better friend, helps us understand them better. But I think for me, I think I need to move even beyond accepting that the why, but to have the actual conversation with them and maybe help them move past some of those feelings. That's where I think we struggle a little bit. We don't want to intrude. We don't want to, stick our nose in other people's problems. But sometimes, I just wonder if some of these people recently who had committed suicide, if somebody, like I know Anthony Bourdain, if his friend who knew that he'd been kind of in a dark place the last couple days, I just wonder if he'd gone to check on him when he didn't show up for dinner. And I'm not saying it's his fault, not at all. But that's what I mean about if maybe we would be a little bit proactive, that we could make a difference. We could help someone. Guilt, I think, we all know what guilt is. Oh, Andrea, thank you so much. We do that for each other. We're really lucky to have each other. But guilt shows you that you're still living in other people's expectations of what you should do. And we need to stop that because we're the only ones who get to decide what we need to do. My coach and friend, John Eric Mosler, one of the first things he taught us about naysayers and people who are negative or maybe put down our dreams is you get a little 1-inch piece of paper. And I've shared this with so many friends, and they've said it has made a difference. Get a little 1-inch, tear off the little corner of a piece of paper, 1 inch by 1 inch, and you write on there the names of everybody who gets to have a voice in your dream, in your life. And it's amazing. To me, it was very freeing. Hey, Jen. It was very freeing to have that little 1-inch piece of paper. And, you just pull it out and you look at it. Nope, their name's not on it. Okay. So then we don't have to be angry with them. And we certainly don't have to feel guilty if they're not pleased with our behavior or with our decisions. Because if their name's not on there, they don't get a vote. Shame shows that we're still internalizing other people's beliefs about us or about who we should be. And that's a big one a lot of times. Yeah, doesn't it, Amy? It really does. One name, right, Melissa, I know. I only have one name on mine too. And it really makes a difference. And really, when you come right down to it, your life would be a lot less complicated if you had fewer people that you needed to please. And a lot less stressful, I think. Anxiety. This is one that I've also had some of this in the last couple weeks. It shows that we need to wake up right now and that we need to be fully present and stop being stuck. And that goes along with the whole discomfort thing. I really need to breathe and be in the moment so that I can experience it fully and move past the negative side effects and move into the really awesome opportunities that I will miss or I'll at least not be able to fully embrace if I have anxiety. And then sadness, of course, that shows the depth of our feeling. Everybody has sadness about some things. And it shows that we have a heart for the world. But I guess the point that besides using this knowledge and all of these explanations, I guess, or points of view about these different emotions, is regardless of what they are or how they help guide us, we need to not stay stuck in any one of them for too long, and I think awareness is a lot of it. I know I have found myself the last few days realizing I've been kind of in a little bit of a slump and I need to get out of it. And, sometimes it's not hard because you do get wrapped up in things. And, I think it's human nature. Sometimes we make ourselves the center of the universe and everything's about us. And, that's just not the case. And once we realize that, then we can kind of have a little more freedom to experience the good things in life. I'm a big advocate and believer in the law of attraction, which says that thoughts become things. And once I started, I think that's helped me become more aware of my own stuckness sometimes in some of these undesirable emotions, because of the awareness of, starting each day with gratitude, going into each day with gratitude. We may not be where we want to be. We may not be the person we want to be. We may not have the things we want to be. But there's so much to be grateful for. And, most of our problems are really first world problems, I mean, come on. I can't think of another country in the world I'd want to live in under any circumstances. And I'm not saying there's not a lot wrong, a lot that needs to be fixed, but my life in comparison to a lot of other people, hey, Ann, is pretty awesome. And so I try to be grateful, grateful to be alive, grateful for my family, even, regardless of whether or not everything's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. But it really all starts with gratitude. And, it's so important, like I said, not to get stuck in any one of these emotions, because it can just destroy us. And I think that that's part of, God didn't make us to be hopeless and live in isolation and darkness. We were meant for community and for light and to share our light. And we can't share our light if we're not letting it shine. If we're retreating into the dark, into our own darkness and staying there, then we can't shine, to show other people the way. So, yeah, and I do too. I have it. I keep it with me at all times. So, and I mean, I've had bouts of depression in my 20s and 30s, and some of it was pretty bad, but I never ever got to the point where I wanted to end my life. And so I can't imagine the desperation that someone feels, how exhausted with trying not to be depressed, trying not to be going through all of those emotions every single day, maybe every single minute of the day, and having to fight so hard against all of that. It has to be exhausting. Oh, you're welcome, Glenda. Yeah, I just feel like, we need to take the stigma of mental illness away, because it's not anything to be embarrassed or ashamed about, and we should ask for help if we need it, but we should also reach out. I think for me, I'm going to perhaps in the future risk offending someone or making someone mad at me by taking that extra step to make sure that they're okay and that they're not going to do anything that can harm them. We need to encourage our friends who need help to get help, because there are resources out there, and there are some free resources in the community. Even if we just call a friend and say, I need a cup of coffee with a friend. I don't want any advice. I just need a shoulder to cry on. And I have done that for a few friends. Once in a while, I'll get a vibe, and I'll just say, let's go grab some coffee. And usually I'm glad and they're glad that we got together, because there were some, they just needed to have someone to talk to and not to judge them. So, yeah, thanks, Glenda. I'm going to try to in my busyness to slow down a little bit and make sure that I'm being as aware as I can of the people around me. And, you can even pick up, if you are friends with people on Facebook, sometimes I'll see a post that seems out of character for someone, And a lot of times, honestly, I don't reach out because I'm in a hurry, or, again, people that you meet online or that you meet online, you don't really know as well as you do in person. So again, you might be even more hesitant to pry, but I think that social media can be a tremendous tool for us to help our friends. Um, so that's just my thoughts on the subject. I'm not a mental health expert by any means, but I've thought a lot about it. Um, I have I know quite a few people. There are a lot of people who have, either temporary or long-term mental health issues, and it happens to people no matter who you are. It's not about what you have, how much money you have, how old you are, what your life situation is. Um, I don't think they really know what causes the chemical disconnect that, right, just letting people know you care. That's right, Andrea. It's healing and helpful, and reaching out is huge. And I think that your friends will recognize, even if they're mad at you at the moment, um, and even if they don't apologize and say, I'm sorry I got mad at you, um, you never know what a difference that might have made for them. And it could be that if it comes to a point where they really need someone, I bet they'll think of you, you know, um, because they'll remember that you risked them getting angry, that you cared enough about them. So I don't know. Does any of this make sense? You guys seem to, um, it seems like a lot of us have really thought about it a lot too. And I don't know the answers other than we just need to love on each other, and we need to slow down a little bit, and, make eye contact with people, and take that chance that you could be the one that makes a difference for them and for their future. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you'll share this with anybody that you think might benefit from it, um, either as a person offering help and encouragement and hope to someone else, or someone who might be in a kind of a dark place right now. Um, and I really appreciate y'all participating in this, and I appreciate your feedback. So you can tell I'm losing my voice. I'm not sick. It's the weather here. It's just insane. Um, so I'm going to go take an allergy pill so I get my voice back. And listen, I hope you all have a great rest of the night and a great week. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in.